Hello everyone, welcome to another episode from Sounds from the Apartment. As you know, I didn't actually record any introductions or endings for this series, unfortunately, because it wasn't too long. I decided to split it in 4 parts, and the individual parts did not have any introductions or endings. So here I am in another random video just talking about, whatever, here at my balcony enjoying the sunshine. Right, so in this video, this second video about the AXR4 series, we're going to discuss about the integration with Cubase and some other Steinberg hardware. You will see what I mean in the actual video, and we're going to see how the panel itself is actually set up, the channel strip in the panel of the interface. We'll deep dive in the settings of the panel, the more advanced settings in a further episode, because this series have 4 parts now, which is ridiculous. But anyway, let's get into it and see what kind of integration AXR4 gives us with Cubase. Right, so whoever knows me knows I'm a very big fan of Cubase, and probably it's the DAW I will be using until I disappear from this world. Yes, definitely. So I'm very happy with this interface because obviously it's being made by the same company who makes Cubase, which is Steinberg, and because of that, Steinberg want to make some very serious integration with Cubase and the functionality of this specific interface. So I'm presenting my screen now, and as you can see, we've got the inspector over here. So this area here, it's called the inspector. And normally, if you don't have a Steinberg interface, or specifically the AXR4, you will be missing this specific section here. And if I click on the arrow, I can expand it, and then you can see pretty much quite a few of the settings the AXR4 has to provide. Now, the interesting thing with this is that I can actually change whatever setting I want on the interface straight from Cubase. I don't even need to actually go into the panel of the interface within Windows. I can do it if I want to, but it gives me the opportunity not to do it. So if, for example, this is on mic 04, let's say I want mic 1, right, and let's say I want to remove fandom from the first input. Boom, I've done it. It has been changed to the interface and the panel as well. I can show you that in a bit as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the options we've got through Cubase to control AXR4. First of all, we've got fandom power. We can switch fandom power on the preamp, and that's obviously on the first 4 preamps, we don't have more. And then we've got pad for that specific channel, high Z as well, which is only for the first 2 channels. 3 and 4 do not have high Z capability. And then we've got the gain of the actual channel. See, again, without needing to actually touch my interface, I can control the gain straight from here. And actually, if you own on the Steinberg CC121, it has a very cool feature, which is this AI knob. So what this AI knob does is, wherever my mouse is, I can control that specific function in Cubase with that knob. So if I hover my mouse over the gain and change the AI knob, as you can see, it also changes the gain of a channel. If, let's say, I want to change the silk preamp down here, I can just hover my mouse over there and then change that knob. So it's very interesting as well how all the Steinberg stuff integrate together, and it's very handy to have them in the studio. And it can only improve your workflow. The more your workflow improves, the better you can actually work and save time, and you're not getting distracted from silly things when you're making music or you're in the middle of a session. So let's go a bit further back now. Obviously, you've got your meter bridge here, so if I had something going into mic 1, you would actually see the signal flow there. Just to prove that, I'll try to max the gain so you can see there's some kind of input there. If I minimize it, it just goes away. So that's my metering for that input. And then if you go further down, you've got the high pass filter, so I can enable this one if I want to cut out the low frequencies. And then you've got a phase reverse button as well. So everything is in there, all the basic stuff. Now next to it, you've got the silk module, and that's again only for the 4 preamps we've got.
has two buttons. If we hover our mouse over it, which is on off, at the moment it's on, but it's at 0 for blue. And then we can also change the type to red, for example. So as you can see now it's red, it shows a bit over here. I need to take my mouse away so I can actually see properly. If I change that to blue, you can see again, it changed to blue. And obviously I can do that with my CC121 AI knob, and if I can change it, it changes, and you can see very, very clearly now, obviously because it's like at 10. So I'll leave it there for now. And the next one is the insert section. So in the insert section, what you can actually load there is the DSP plugins that come with the interface. So you've got a morphling channel strip, a compressor and equalizer as well, and these last two actually, the compressor and the equalizer, are analog modeled Yamaha plugins. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually see what these do, but not at the moment. Now the only difference is you can actually load them here, so you can have them into the channel while you're tracking someone. So if I want someone to have some kind of compression of the vocals, I'm going to use this channel strip here. Now, the interesting thing is that I can also change the pre-post position of the hardware effect. Now, what that does is that if I have it here, which is the pre-position, whatever effects I'm putting on that track that I'm recording, they are not going to be recorded. If I click on that and change the inserts to a post position, which they become blue, that is going to allow me to also record them in the actual recording I'm making. And that's something we will see again on the AXR4 interface panel in a bit. Okay, so I'll move this back into pre, because usually I don't want to record them, I just want them to be there for monitoring for the person who is actually recording. Moving further down, we've got the reverb send. So this interface has also DSP reverb on it, and I can choose between 3 separate types: hall, room and plate. So for example, let's say I want plate in here, and again I will just increase my send with my CC121, and if I click on E over here, I can actually see the preset I'm actually using. So we've got, you know, reverb time, initial delay, decay, high pass filter as well, low pass, and whatever you need, whatever you want to actually have in a proper reverb to make it sound good. And I can tell you, these specific reverbs sound amazing. I was so amazed by their quality. And then you've got the output bus section, where you can actually see the line outputs where this channel is assigned to. And also beneath that, you've got the headphone outputs for each of the outputs. So for example, if I wanted to send this line 1-2 output as well as at the headphone 2 outputs, I would simply click that, and that would be replicated on the headphone output number 2. And that allows me to make 2 separate mixes or follow the mixes from the actual buses. And this pretty much sums up the functionality you've got in Cubase with this interface. It just saves you loads of time going back and forth from the panel or even touching the interface itself, as it's quite digital and it's got a load of menus and pages you need to go through, while this one, it's like you've got everything in front of you. It's very easy. You just go into it, you tweak it, boom, it's there. But if you still want to go to the panel or the actual interface, all you have to do is go back up here in the title that says AXR4 and click on the E button. And that, it says Open Editor Software, but in reality it's the panel of the actual interface, as you can see here. So let's go through this as well. So here we are at the panel of the AXR4. And we're going to go through the channel strip first before we actually investigate the rest of the panel, okay? So let's go through the mic 1 channel strip. So this essentially, it's named mic 1, this is the name of the channel strip because it's the first preamp on the AXR4. And this here is the input section. So the input section pretty much gives us whatever the input section gave us in Cubase due to the integration. So we've got our phantom power and the pad, or the high Z option, and then our gain. And you will notice over here at the back that when I move my gain, it also changes there, which is very interesting, isn't it? So you can actually see the whole thing changing while we are doing changes in the panel in Cubase as well. So a great sign of great integration and ease of use. So then moving further down, you can see we've got our low cut filter or high pass and our phase reverse buttons. And then again, we've got our silk section here, which we can control the on off for the silk texture. We can change it to blue or red, and then obviously we can change the amount of it we want to use on our recording. Then we've got the FX Rec button on the insert section here. So the FX Rec button essentially is the pre-post switch that we've got in Cubase. So if I click on that, you can see this changes as well, and this allows us to record these effects if we want to, these inserts here. Moving further down, you can see we've got 2 slots for each channel to add specific effects, so either the channel strip or the compressor or the EQ. Now what's very interesting as well, if we go up to the right up here, you can see we've got 2 DSP engines, and these are integrated into the AXR4 itself. So if I load something here, let's say, you will notice that the DSP engine will go up. So boom, so the EQ is loaded up, and then you can see an increase here on the second DSP engine. So if I remove it, you should see a drop taking place. Now moving further down, you can see the send section, which is pretty much the reverb section, and this is how much we want to send that signal to the reverb. We've got selected in the reverb section, which we'll discuss in a bit. And then you've got your fader section, which includes your panning, and then you've got your mute and solo buttons, and obviously your faders. Now the other thing you can do as well down here, you've got the routing. So if I want to send this specific channel for, I don't know, -30 on line 1 and 2, and let's say I want to send it to line, let's say 5 and 6, a bit more like 9 for any reason, I can just do it from here, and then this obviously it won't affect my first mix. So we've got separate mixes for each of these channels if we want to, which is great. Now before I start going deeper into this, I'd like to demonstrate to you a bit how these effects work. We can use them natively into Cubase. I'm not going to record something now live, but I can show you how these work. If let's say we were having some musicians recording straight into the AXR, you know, right now, as we speak. And also we're going to demonstrate a bit how the Silk module works and what difference does it make to the sound. So let's go through these now, and then we're going to discuss further about the rest of the panel. Okay, let's go back into Cubase.
Alright, and that was it for today. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. It wasn't too long, I hope, but clearly showed, you know, how integration with Cubase works with AXR4 and the CC121 controller as well. So it's very nice to see all these kind of Steinberg equipment work together. So thank you for being around, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please support or follow us on Patreon, or please share our page at least. You know, the more eyes they see our content, the better it's for us. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, or obviously if you want to follow our page on Facebook or on Instagram, or if you want to subscribe to our channel here in YouTube if you haven't done already, and anything you can do, it can only help us out as a channel and as a content. So I'm hoping you really like this one, and I will see you again very soon, definitely with an article next week. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but more content, it's on its way out there. So thank you for being around again, once again. Stay tuned, and peace, love, and stay safe.